19-year-old Christian Millward. Both residents of Cathedral City were arrested in San Diego yesterday. Both men are accused of murder in the fatal shooting of 13-year-old Alan Martinez back on August 13th. It happened on Whispering Palms and Mission Indian Trail. The Riverside County Gang Impact Team worked with the San Diego Police Department to detain both men. They've since been booked into the Riverside County Jail. The case will be sent to the Riverside County District Attorney's Office for filing considerations.
8 months after a motorcycle crash during the Palm Springs Festival of Lights parade left a dozen people injured, the police department released their final report on this incident. Tonight, our Brett Rosen is live in studio. He has more on what the department says is necessary going forward. Brett?
Olivia, the Palm Springs Police Department told me that part of the reason why this review took over 8 months was because of the continued investigation that was led by California Highway Patrol. PSPD saying the reason CHP conducted the investigation is because they did not want a conflict of interest due to the nature of the incident, including one of their officers. I reached out to CHP earlier today, and they told me that the investigation has been completed and is now sent to the District Attorney's Office to see if they will file charges, which the DA's office told us in a statement that they are still overlooking the investigation. The Palm Springs Police Department says one of the key factors in the review was making sure that supervisors know the number of officers they are responsible for during events.
Some of the things that were brought up during this administrative review was span of control, is basically how many people supervisors are responsible for. The other thing too is kind of that mission drift that I talked about, is what is your particular role in this incident, and then how do we find ourselves in this situation. For example, the traffic unit was there for traffic control, and what this evolved into was part of entertainment for the event.
Other key points in this review were new safety protocols like event safety measures and operational changes. Our Fred Rogan spoke with Police Chief Andy Mills earlier today. Here's a portion of that interview.
Something like this should never happen again. We recognize that our management team, including me, have to make sure that there's complete command and control of those events. Our supervisor to employee ratio was way out of whack, and one guy was managing too many people, and others who were there weren't doing enough.
Now you can watch the full interview tonight at 6:30 on the Rogan Report. Live in studio, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, Brett, thank you for that. Let's get a check on the forecast. Live pictures right now from our Agua Caliente Casino camera high above downtown Palm Springs, where we can see the windy conditions that are in effect right now. We're going to send things over to Chloe Carlson. In addition to that wind, I was looking at the forecast. Teens are around the corner.
Teens, they are back. Yes, we thought they were away. We got some cooler conditions for the weekend, and they are back. Did you miss them?
No.
No. Yeah, neither did I. But they are, unfortunately. 111 right now in downtown Palm Springs at the airport today. We are just slightly above seasonal, but it's a trend that's going to continue for the rest of the work week. We'll continue to climb in those temperatures. Warmest days looking to be Thursday and Friday this week. So it's going to be a hot one, but we've been here before, folks, and autumn is just right around the corner, about a month away. Winds at this hour, as Mark mentioned, some stronger gusts in Palm Springs, 23-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Still have those winds from the west for the wind corridor there. As we get into the middle of the work week tomorrow, as I mentioned, temperatures continue to climb. So 113 to 117 possible for our Wednesday. Just keep these numbers in mind when you are outside. We want everyone to be safe out there. Very hot conditions, so this should come as no surprise. We are in an extreme heat warning starting tomorrow through the rest of the work week. So we have a little bit of some clouds out there, but they are not offering any shade at all, monitoring those temps. So extreme heat warning for us here in the Coachella Valley, extreme heat watch for the IE there. The coast is escaping these weather advisories. Just look at your Comfort Air 3-day forecast. So temperatures continue to climb this week. We are tracking a possible chance of rain for Southern California and even us here in the Coachella Valley as we get into the weekend. We'll break down more you can expect in that full forecast coming up.
Chloe, thank you. Some news around the region tonight. The search continues for a missing Cabazon infant after 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro went missing last Thursday. Multiple news outlets now reporting the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department has seized the car belonging to the father of the missing boy. And according to the LA Times, an attorney representing the father of the missing boy says the parents are cooperating with law enforcement. That's despite claims from investigators that they'd cut off communication. Authorities, on the other hand, say they haven't ruled out foul play given some inconsistencies found from the mother's initial statement. The mother, Rebecca Haro, says Emmanuel was with her until she was attacked, and when she woke up, she found the boy was missing. San Bernardino County Sheriff's saying they've confirmed a search is actively ongoing. It's fueled by search warrants and canine assistance at the parents' home in Cabazon. And additionally, the sheriff's office noting a, quote, large amount of surveillance footage has been obtained and it is currently under review.
California Republicans are asking the state Supreme Court to pause the redistricting push by Democrats. Dillon Law Group, Inc. and state GOP lawmakers filed an emergency petition today, claiming the state legislature is violating California's Constitution by pushing through a number of bills that will place new proposed congressional district maps on the ballot for a November 4th special election. Republicans are asking the court to pause activity in the matter until mid-September because the state constitution requires new legislation to have a 30-day review period before lawmakers can act on it.
The legislature considered a package of legislation proposed by the governor that was published for the first time yesterday morning. And yet, the same day, the legislature acted upon that legislation and pushed it to committees. This is a flagrant violation of the people's rights under the Constitution of California. Rights that were instituted by the people on their legislature to restrain it.
Of course, this comes as a response to California Governor Gavin Newsom's retaliation, offsetting a Texas gerrymander and giving California 5 more blue seats in the House of Representatives.
We have some good news out of Cabazon tonight that we can provide an update on. August 14th of last year, Animal Services teamed up with the Riverside County Sheriff's Rural Crime Team to conduct a search warrant at a property in the Cabazon area. Officials there uncovered several underweight horses and other animals deprived of water out in the intense heat and took them to safety. Well, less than a month later, Deputy Weston Hubbard officially adopted one of the horses and named him Maverick and trained him for 9 months. And this is where all the good news comes together. Almost 1 year after Maverick's rescue, the horse is now a member of the Riverside County Sheriff's Mounted Enforcement Detail and in good care serving the community. So we'd love to see that. New at 6 o'clock tonight, we continue our series Voices in the Shadows, where we share the stories of community members who are impacted by newly enforced immigration reforms.
Tonight, we're hearing the story of an undocumented immigrant student who fears for his safety as he is ineligible for current safety measures. Our Antonio Marquez has the story.
For Roberto Ramos, going to school has become a daily struggle, not knowing what obstacles he may face before, during, or after school. One of them being that he might be deported.
With the current political climate, there's a lot on my mind all the time. I don't know whether I can do certain things or I can't do certain things, whether I can't visit certain places or not.
Living with uncertainty, Roberto gets home and he unpacks more than just books, but also the fear and worries that have weighed on him all day, all tied to an uncertain future. But realizing that education could be his key to a better life, Roberto made the decision to return to school.
Especially as an undocumented student, you don't know whether you're going to be able to financially support yourself, your family, and as a Hispanic male, like that burden falls onto me where you have to take care of your family in case your father is absent or not, and it's rough, but we can make it. We can all make it through as long as we don't give up.
Roberto is the only member of his family without any form of immigration protection. He's one of thousands of undocumented students who don't qualify for DACA due to the short time they've been in the U.S. But he doesn't give up on his dreams and has changed his major in order to help within the community.
I went through some hardships in my life this past year, and I realized that I was given a lot of help and I wanted to return that help. So I decided to change my career path to study sociology and be able to find a way to help people the way they help me and even more.
Now in his final year of college, Roberto has taken on a leadership role, serving as vice president for Associated Students of College of the Desert. It's a position he hopes will not only help his future, but also inspire other students like himself who may not feel represented, and where he hopes he can spread the message of the importance of finding a support system.
To find that community to always support one another no matter what. We're all going through our own situations, we all have our own problems in life, but at the end of the day, if we can find that support and that family, and if we can all come together and not give up on whatever is going on, that they can make it through.
Upon graduation, Roberto wants to attend the University of Irvine or Santa Barbara to continue his education, something he hopes to achieve. Antonio Marquez, NBC Palm Springs.
Our thanks to Antonio for that report. The Coachella Animal Network is hosting an adoption event and affordable pet clinic. It's over at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. It's tomorrow, 10 in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Clinic will offer vaccines, microchips, and pet licenses. No appointment is needed. A spay and neuter clinic for cats also available by appointment with limited standby slots starting at 7:30 in the morning. The adoption event will feature available dogs and cats. All adoption fees are waived. For details on fees, services, or to book a spay and neuter appointment, you can visit CoachellaAnimalNetwork.org.
The Desert Recreation District has partnered with the Coachella Valley Association of Governments to maintain the CV Link. The agreement tasks recreation employees with keeping the 40-mile pathway clean and safe for pedestrians, cyclists, and low-speed vehicles like golf carts. The deal was announced last week and it went into effect on Monday.
With a new school year comes a need for new school supplies. Thanks to the Walter Clark Legal Group, students can get the much-needed supplies they need for free. The Legal Group recently donated 1,500 backpacks to the Coachella Valley Unified School District, and they're going to be handing them out. In fact, they're doing so right now at Desert Mirage High School. The event started about 12 minutes ago. According to the district, the giveaway is open to the public. It's a drive-through event, which you can access off of Avenue 66.
Martha's Village and Kitchen is hosting its first ever Halloween-themed 5K and 10K race in Palm Springs. The Spooktacular Run kicks off at 8 a.m. It's October 11th at Ruth Hardy Park. Families can enjoy prizes, vendors, music, and plenty of photo ops, so make sure you bring your costume. All proceeds will benefit the Palm Springs Navigation Center, which supports people experiencing homelessness. To register, you can find a link to it on our newsroom tab of our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Coming up next tonight, Crypto Fits has the latest on tokenized securities, what they are, how they work. That's after this.
Plus, Walmart warns of radioactive shrimp, but is it impacting consumers here in the Valley? We'll have more on the recall ahead. And here's a look at your gold and silver prices on this Tuesday evening. Stay with us. Those headlines and more coming up right after the break.
committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 6.
Welcome back. Tokenized securities are essentially digital versions of traditional financial instruments. Think stocks, bonds, or real estate. So how do they work in the cryptocurrency world? Here's Crypto Fitz to explain.
Everything's moving from the analog world to the digital world. So with securities, you'll be able to buy stocks through digital assets, as opposed to the regular way where you buy them on your Schwab or Fidelity self-managed account, or you have a stockbroker handling your money and all that fun stuff. You never really see your stock certificates. Back in the old days, people used to keep their stock certificates in their safe deposit box or under the mattress, right? Today, you trust the system, but it's not digitized still, even though you're all online, digital, looking at your bank accounts. Most people pay their bills online and all that stuff. Well, now, you're going to be able to buy assets digitally in the digital asset space and own pieces of rare watches, cars, real estate, resorts. Everything's going to go tokenized. You'll be able to check what you own, see the progress of the project and everything else. So this is going to be some new information that's going to spread pretty rapidly, and it's something that I would recommend everyone check out. Tokenized securities.
And you can head to the Programs tab of our website, NBCPalmSprings.com, for the latest on the crypto world from Crypto Fitz.
In some consumer news this evening, President Donald Trump's 50% tariff on steel and aluminum imports has taken effect. More than 400 categories of common items that contain steel and aluminum are now more expensive to import to the United States. Baby strollers, spray deodorants, and fire extinguishers are among the items affected. U.S.-based importers are now in a really tough position. If they accept goods they've already paid for that are currently in transit, they'll have to pay those higher tariffs. But if they decide to stop the shipments, they'll likely lose money.
Tonight, the FDA is warning consumers about certain shrimp sold by Walmart that may have radioactive contamination. There are 3 lots of Great Value brand raw frozen shrimp. It's sold in 13 states. At this time, the good news is California is not on that list. The shrimp have a best by date of March 15th, 2027. Consumers should throw them out if they're in one of the impacted states. Repeated low-dose exposure to cesium-137 can elevate cancer risk. And this all started when U.S. Customs and Border Protection alerted the FDA that C-137 was detected in shipping containers at 4 U.S. ports. The FDA stresses no shrimp in the U.S. food supply has tested positive so far, but it is recommending all products from the company sent after the containers tested positive be recalled.
All right, we're giving you a live look tonight from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Chloe Carlson not only tracking hot temperatures, but also the potential for rain in the forecast. Those details when we come right back.
And happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back. Right now, we're taking a live look at the Walter Clark Highway 11 cam in Rancho Mirage. Mostly clear blue skies today. We talked about this yesterday. Maybe seeing a few wispies out there today as far as clouds go. And that is true as you look at this live cam. Light breezes there in the Rancho Mirage area. You might want to go to the river this evening to celebrate that you made it through Tuesday. Speaking of celebrations, here's the holiday countdown calendar. If you're looking forward to Labor Day, if you get that 4-day weekend, 13 days, less than 2 weeks away from Labor Day. And we are just around a month away from the start of autumn. So don't worry, we are going to get through these 1-teens, and cooler days will be in our future. We talked about this. I know we're talking about residents across the Coachella Valley today with costumes already being brought up across different department stores. If you want to get yours now, you got time, 73 days away from Halloween. So I guess you can never start too soon. And we have a long time away from losing an hour of sunlight, 75 days away from daylight savings. So that's well in the future. 112 for the high today. We are slightly above average. That's a trend that will continue for us the rest of the week and really into the weekend. Will be more seasonal for the weekend, but just slightly above at this hour. Right at 100 degrees for Desert Hot Springs there on the other side of the 10, 108 in Thousand Palms. Overnight, it's going to be warmer as well, so not getting a lot of relief as we get into later this week. And see tonight we are in the low 80s. By later this week we'll be in the high 80s, low 90s for those overnight. So it's going to be a hot one day and night. Surface moisture also rising as we get into later this week. We talked about that ridge of high pressure center being placed to draw up some monsoonal flow as we get into the second half of our work week. So by Friday, chance of rain mostly over our mountain communities, very light sprinkles if anything at all. By Saturday, more of that moisture will be drawn up. So chances for rain actually extends into the Coachella Valley, northern Coachella Valley there. So it's not a lot of moisture, but we'll take anything we can get here. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. So warmer today looks to be Thursday at 114. We're back to seasonal by the weekend.
The NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Oh, welcome back. This season tackle, not the only style of football on the gridiron at the high school level. Flag football will kick the week off on Mondays. Caitlin Kelly has more from Shadow Hills.
Monday night under the lights, Shadow Hills took the field with one goal: to prove once again why they're the top flag football team in the Coachella Valley. Leading the charge, senior captain and reigning league MVP Zitlali Fragoso, the heart and soul of the Knights. But building a program this good takes more than just one star. Quarterback Vanessa Monaco has been nearly flawless, posting a staggering passer rate of 151, giving the Knights a dangerous 1-2 punch on offense.
Now we back on the road, headed back. We have a lot of weapons all over. So once it starts to go in, you can't stop it. These girls have a lot of fans out here. They invite a lot of people. It's a lot of family and local support. So yes, I'm very happy to be part of this program.
We have a great support system here, and that the Valley just wants to see a good game from us, the desert showing out. You know, we just want to take it to the next level.
All just down the road from Shadow Hills, the Rajas took on the La Quinta Blackhawks. Not a whole lot of offense going on for either team, but it's Indio who would edge out La Quinta 6-0 for the shutout win. There's a nice grab from Evelyn Gonzalez for the score. Indio remains unbeaten in the Desert Empire League and on this season. On Friday Night Lights will begin a night earlier this week. Rancho Mirage will host the first game Thursday night at 7:30. It can all be found on our website all season long at NBCPalmSprings.com. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Streaming services continue to outpace cable. Nielsen data finding streamers took a record high share of viewing in July for the 6th straight month. Streaming taking up more than double the TV use that cable did last month. YouTube, Netflix, and Disney were the most viewed streamers. Top streaming titles in July were Squid Game, Love Island USA, and Blind Spot. We'll be right back.
Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Fiesta Kia. Discover the all-new Fiesta Kia located in the I-10 Auto Mall.
All right, it's time to bring home the bacon. That's because tomorrow is National Bacon Lovers Day. So mark the day, experiment with bacon in every meal you cook. I don't know if that's good for the cholesterol, but hey, it's bacon day, so you can cut loose. The real question is, do you like it extra crispy or not?
Yes.
Ooh, yes, extra crispy.
Okay, we're all on the same
maple
page.
on it.
Like burnt.
Yeah.
Like it
that
just
crunch.
crumbles. Yeah.
Yeah.
PGA West, I think, has the best bacon that I've tried in the Coachella Valley.
It's so good. So good.
All right, I'll have to wait for that. All right, I'm back here tonight for the news at 11. Please join us for that. Meantime, we're going to send things over to Fred Rogan. He's got the latest with the Rogan Report. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Mark. The Rogan Report is presented by The Living Desert.
First, Oklahoma mandated the Bible and the Ten Commandments be in the classroom. Now they've decided to give new hires an America First test, but only if you're applying from California or New York. Tick, tick, you know what that is? That's the sound of the clock ticking up to the first lawsuit. Hey there, well, Welcome in on Tuesday. Palm Springs police motorcycle officers are back on the road. This after one of their bikes crashed into a crowd at last December's Festival of Lights, injuring 12 people. You remember the video. After a deep dive into what went wrong, the city rolled out big changes before letting the riders return. At the same time, the CHP wrapped up its investigation, and now the DA has the case. Palm Springs Police Chief Andy Mills joins us to talk about what's going on and what happens next. Chief, thanks for joining the show tonight.
It's good to see you, Fred.
Okay, so the report is out, the results are in, and what did you learn?
Well, I learned a few things, one of which is we can do a lot better when we are managing parades and large events like that. And particularly, we recognize that our management team, including me, have to make sure that there's complete command and control of those events. Our supervisor to employee ratio was way out of whack. And one guy was managing too many people, and others who were there weren't doing enough. And so we just need to make sure that we're all in the same trajectory, that we're controlling the controllables, and that something like this should never happen again.
What specifics, Chief, come out of this? In other words, that was a broad overview of what we have to do.
Right.
What specifics? What will you enact now?
Well, we're enacting a variety of very specific things, one of which is there's a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit for all of our vehicles, fire vehicles, and anybody in the parade, working the parade. So nobody's going to be running up and down the street trying to pop wheelies or doing tight turns and circles. It's going to be very, very controlled. The second thing is there's going to be a captain in charge of each major event so that we have somebody who we can say, this is your responsibility. You have to take care of this, and you're going to control it. And then the third thing we're doing is reducing the span of control. The span of control is far too large for one person to manage. And that was, again, an oversight by management. And the next thing is we want to make sure that the policies are in place for everybody in the parade to behave a certain way and make sure that we're not putting people at risk unnecessarily. Also, we also recognize that some of the behavior, we got mission creep. It started out as with the officers maybe a decade ago, just doing turns and people cheering when they made the tight, hard turns. And then it turned into, as we all know, last year, officers pulling the front wheels off the ground, doing wheelies, and then losing control. So we're going to really clamp down on the mission creep. Make sure that our responsibility is to provide the safety for the parade, not to entertain people. And that's one of the things that we've learned and we're going to be doing.
You know, in my time here, what happened was someone speeding down the road really is not unusual at those kinds of parades. And right. It takes something like this for everybody to take a step back and say, wait a minute, we shouldn't be doing that?
Well, it shouldn't take that. It should be that there are command people in place to be able to look at that behavior and say, hey, that's unacceptable. We're not going to permit that in this environment. But when things like this happen, the reason we did this administrative review is to look at all the factors involved in this. It's just like what the military does when there's a plane crash. Was it an act of God? Was it an act of a failure on the pilot's part? Was it overall policies and systems in place that weren't tight enough? And that's why we wrote this report, so that everybody can take a look at it and find out what we found and what corrections we're making.
So you're being completely transparent.
It's the whole report is listed for them on our website, our transparency portal. They can Google it. They can read it themselves. It's not that long. It's probably 7 or 8 pages. But we want the people to know that we lay it bare. We're holding nothing back from the terms in terms of who is responsible. There's enough fault to go around for everybody, and we want to make sure this never happens again.
Chief, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks.
Thanks for the opportunity, Fred.
Okay, so how do people around the country view us in California? In Oklahoma, they think we have radical leftist ideology. Apparently, they feel the same way about people from New York. They're so concerned, they're giving teachers from California and New York that apply for jobs tests. They're introducing an America First exam as part of the hiring process. The move has sparked a lot of debate about educational values and political influence in schools. It's getting people talking about what's really being taught in the classrooms. Just to be clear, California ranks 29th nationwide in education. New York is number 10. Oklahoma ranks 50th. Our contributors tonight, Stephanie Miner and Nick Collins. Stephanie, what do you think about testing teachers for their beliefs?
This is insane. I hope that this does not stand. I mean, where did this even come from? Who came up with this? This is not okay. It certainly seems illegal to me, and I hope that they do not allow this to continue or to happen at all. What do you think, Nick?
Well, I think the people that are making a big deal out of it, they're kind of delulu. I think the test is skibbity because it is pretty basic. If you read any of the questions on there, they were like a poli-sci exam. I can't believe you get fired or not hired because you didn't get some of the constitutional questions right.
Do you believe political ideology should play a role in education, Nick?
No. If I'm going to math class, I expect that. PE, no. Sciences, no. Maybe if it's a social studies or a poli-sci, it's probably going to come up, right? But I don't see it in any other classes. Stephanie?
Yeah, no, there should be no religion in politics or at school. Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, that being said, and we understand what Oklahoma is doing here, how do you feel, period, about the idea of an America First exam, Stephanie?
I don't see the reason. We're supposed to be teaching kids. It's just such a slippery slope is what I'm trying to say. I mean, who's judging it? Are we talking about religion? And who's in charge of making the final decision? It just is not necessary. It's a very, very slippery slope that I do not think we need to be going down.
So, Nick, you don't think there should be an exam at all either?
No, you can fire one in there. These people want to hire teachers. Maybe they think this is a great plan. And as long as it's kind of a straightforward one, I think it's good. I don't know if you picked up on that, Fred. I was using the new words in the Cambridge Dictionary. I'm keeping up with these kids, too, in school.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, here's the situation. What would you do? Your child breaks something in a restaurant. Should you have to pay for it? If you have been on TikTok in the last week, there is no way you missed this viral video. A toddler accidentally knocked over a cafe table and broke it. The family was asked to pay for the damage. They were pretty offended by the request, saying it was just a little accident, and they say they were held by the cafe until they paid. The internet went nuts and then discovered the table was actually a console table and not made to be used as a dining table in the first place. The whole thing sparked a debate online about whether parents should be held responsible for their kids' mishaps. If your child breaks something in a business, should you have to pay? Nick, should the parents have to pay for accidental damage?
In this case, no. I mean, how in the rainbow sherbet does a 3-year-old knock over a table at an ice cream parlor? And who's balancing a giant marble slab on a toothpick so a tiny 3-year-old could shatter it and sprinkle it all over the floor? It's nuts. Stephanie, you got to back me up on this.
I am totally backing you up on that. That was a console table. It shouldn't have been used in that manner. So the fact that it broke, I do not believe the parents should have to pay for. However, if you're at a grocery store and your child, knocks over a jar or something like that, I would absolutely offer to pay for that as a parent. But this was kind of the business's fault.
All right, but see, it comes down to responsibility. Now, you're both saying it was a console table and it shouldn't have been there in the first place, so the business should eat it. But overall, do you think if your child breaks something in a store, now you pointed out a grocery store, Stephanie, in a store, in a restaurant, should you be made to pay, or should the business just chalk it up, use their insurance, and move on? What do you think, Steph?
I think as a parent that I would want to pay, that I would offer to pay. If my child broke something, if I broke something as an adult, I'm going to offer to pay because that's not fair to the business, especially a very small business. That being said, it is not the same when we're talking about a 3,000 pound marble table that a toddler was able to knock out. That was the business's fault.
All right. Well, accidents happen. It's how you respond to them that determines if you're a good neighbor. Kate Indian Wells looking for a cabinet maker, not looking for anything fancy, just a cute cabinet with drawers. Halloween's on the way. Kathy Palm Desert has a spooky question. Wants to know if the bats she sees at night are harmful to the humans around them. Ann in Indian Wells looking for a landscape artist who can design a small area outside her condo. Jackie, Cathedral City, looking for a place that does free kitten neutering. She's got 3 male kitties that are almost 4 months old.
Look closely at the screen. It's not a mirage, it's a show.
Tell Fred what you think about it. Find Fred on Facebook and Instagram at Fred Rogan or email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
Are you tired all the time?
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Tell the truth, you feel exhausted? You won't believe how serious chronic exhaustion really is. According to a recent report, many people are feeling persistently tired and drained, often due to a mix of stress, lifestyle choices, and even medical conditions. Not just about needing more sleep, it's a complex problem affecting mental and physical health. Experts emphasizing the importance of recognizing and addressing the fatigue to improve overall well-being. It's something more people need to be aware of. Stephanie, you ever experienced chronic exhaustion?
Every day of my life. I've had trouble sleeping my whole life. I have had sleep studies. I just recently this year got a CPAP. It's just a problem. I also have a problem with my thyroid. However, that being said, I do think that I also contribute to some of it by scrolling endlessly on TikTok and maybe causing some of my own problems.
Nick?
Chronic, bionic, supersonic, all the exhaustions. I can barely stay awake. It's like I haven't paid my bill to the Sandman. And every day I'm just trying to find myself another cup of coffee. I was going to try that boom boom thing. Everybody's doing the vapors. Maybe that'll help me because I can't get enough sleep.
I do not understand it. I don't. Almost everyone I talk to says I'm exhausted. And to be quite honest, I'm exhausted every day. Now, I have 9 jobs, but that doesn't matter. I've always worked this way, and I do not know how to get more sleep. I track it on my phone. I track it, and I got 4 hours and 42 minutes last night. And I thought, oh my God, this day is going to be a nightmare. And psychologically, if you see that, now you're screwed. You know, oh, I only slept 4 hours. All day you're thinking about that. How do we fix that, Stephanie?
I don't know. According to everything that I've read, we have to kind of act like little babies. We need to have a set bedtime, a set wake up time, keep our room dark. I've tried everything and it does not work. I don't have the answers. I wish that I did, but I try to just be as healthy as I can and exercise and eat right, and it's not working for me.
All right, well, we'll all keep trying. Recently, a viewer contacted us, wanted to know about the history of a 19-acre site in Indio known as Noble Ranch neighborhood. It was an area that was demolished by the city during the late 80s through eminent domain. In this edition of Desert in a Minute, NBC Palm Springs historian Steve Sumrall looks into it.
John Nobles was the first African American to own land in the Coachella Valley. This property was obtained by him during the 1930s when selling land to African Americans was prohibited by land deed restrictions. But the land was gifted to him by local physician Reynaldo Carrion. Nobody knows why. Dr. Carrion's relationship to Mr. Nobles continues to be a mystery, even to local historians.
We don't know if they were best friends or if they were business associates. We haven't figured that out yet.
Soon after he and his wife Miranda moved in, John Nobles became a farmer.
Chickens, hogs, peanuts, and lettuce.
The area you see behind me, including this property which houses the Coachella Valley History Museum, once belonged to the Nobles. In fact, this historic water tower is still standing. John Nobles is especially remembered today, not for owning this land, but what he did with it.
He divided the property up and offered it to African Americans who did not have the ability to get property otherwise.
Sometime during the late 1940s, John Nobles died, leaving the ranch to his granddaughter, who sold it a few years later. By the 1960s, the neighborhood which the Nobles had created was flourishing, with an abundance of homes and businesses. The John Nobles Ranch neighborhood was still thriving in 1988 when the City of Indio's redevelopment agency decided that the nearby Indio Fashion Mall needed to be expanded. To make this happen, they would condemn 80 Nobles Ranch homes through eminent domain. A class action lawsuit was filed in 1990 on behalf of some relocated residents who alleged that they were forced out due to racial discrimination. 3 years later, a favorable settlement was awarded to the plaintiffs, and the city, as well as its redevelopment agency, agreeing to buy new homes for former homeowners and providing retroactive relocation assistance to renters. Oh, and incidentally, that proposed mall expansion that started this whole mess, it never happened. For Desert in a Minute, this is NBC Palm Springs historian Steve Sumrall.
Steve's stuff is just fascinating. Have you applied for a loan or a job recently? Do you think a person looked at your application? Think again.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Riddle me this. What has a heart that doesn't beat?
AI is everywhere, and we talk a lot about it. As with many things, the legalities of AI are just being discussed. Recently, California finalized regulations under the California Consumer Privacy Act to address the use of something called automated decision-making technology. That's when computer systems analyze data and make decisions, often without human input. Walter Clark is here to talk about it. All right, Walter, here is our discussion. Are California regulations of ADMT going to protect us?
They should, and it's really a good thing that they're trying to do this. This new technology, AI, making decisions, it's awesome and it's scary at the same time. The ADMT that you mentioned is automated decision-making technology. So basically, robots are evaluating data and making decisions which otherwise would be made by a human being. So it's a big, big change. And, you can consider an application for a loan or for a job or college admission. If a non-human is making that decision, it's a big, big change.
How do regulations work? How would they work? Are there federal regulations?
Unfortunately, the feds have been sitting on their hands and not doing anything in this arena. In my opinion, they have no comprehensive law regulating how ADMT is used. Other states are doing it. California is on the forefront. The feds should. This is really important social change, in my judgment. And there should be regulations because it can be dangerous if they aren't using some sort of guidelines on how it can be used.
Is this new technology and regulation good for the Coachella Valley?
Yeah, I think it's good for everybody. I mean, the new law is going to require that all of us be advised if they're going to use this ADMT. We have to be told how it's used. We have to be given the opportunity to opt out of its use. And if we do opt out, they shouldn't retaliate against us. So if some business wants to make a decision on my loan application, and I say I don't want it to be done by a robot, they can't say, well, we're not going to do it at all. So, but it's important to have these rules because, and I think it's going to be, it's like atomic energy or the internet. It's an evolution of really important stuff, and it has to be regulated. And I think if it is for the Coachella Valley, it'll mean greater efficiency and productivity. But it's still a sci-fi world out there, and things are changing so fast. It's just amazing what's going on. I think it's going to change at a more rapid speed all the time, too.
All right. Well, Walter, thank you for rapidly explaining that tonight. It was greatly appreciated.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
But you sold it, and that's all that matters, Walter. Trust me. You just got to sell it. Good job.
I think it's interesting stuff. I do. Thank you very much. Good to see you, Fred.
Talk to you. And your daily dose of cuteness when we return.
Rogan Report was presented by the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens.
Can we agree to disagree? Can we agree you'll tell us what you think? Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Rogan. You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
Hey, what has a heart that doesn't beat? An artichoke.
No, Kevin, the answer was not a vampire. I even got that. Comments about your disgustingly dirty cell phone. Marcus says he cleans his every night with UV light. Simply place your phone in, close the lid, let the blue UV light kill 99.9% of germs. It's a USB charged device and can be used for other things that need cleaning as well. Phil was surprised to see our interview with Vicky Vargas. Is she in the desert now? I remember when she started in LA. I worked with Vicky 40 years at KNBC, and yes, she's in the desert. And she works just like we all do 24/7. Go to the website, click on programs, hit the Rogan Report, content from tonight up there, past shows as well. Thanks for watching. Wheel of Fortune's next.